Okay, so if others are joining, let them join. For those of you who are participating, I've not checked on the group how many of you are participating in the recipe illustration. But today I thought if you have, those of you who are participating, if you have some queries, if you want to just do some troubleshooting, it could be ideas, it could be technique, it could just be discussing some sketches, then that might help you move forward. Many people have sent me pictures saying that I've done so and so thing, but I'm not sure how can I proceed. So I can help you just organize things and make them better. And if that finishes quickly, then we can illustrate something else also.
Aditi, I have a question.
Yeah.
So I have been working on a paper which is larger than the specified size, but I mark the size within the paper and do my recipe within that dimension itself. So while scanning, obviously I'm going to scan the whole sheet, right? Is that okay to send you like that?
Yes, that's okay. In fact, what I would request is don't mark a pencil border around it.
Oh,
Because sometimes if you want the illustration to bleed out, then I will get an idea of how much that 19 by 24 dimension is. So I can cut it at the right point and use it for the illustration, for the book, and you can illustrate beyond also.
really? Okay.
Yeah, because once you send me the whole scan, it's like a frame. I can take any part of the frame. I can put the frame on the illustration anywhere. So imagine this is what you see on screen, my face is the entire picture, but I need only a part of it. So depending upon how much I need, I can probably take only so much. If it's about the cupboard, then I will just take so much of the frame. So I cut up as much as I need. But when you're making an illustration that, for example, if you're drawing lots of leaves or drawing stems of things, you don't cut it on the line. You can extend it a little bit. It's immaterial, that stem, it doesn't make any difference to the main illustration, but you at least allow the form to flow out of the page area. That's called the bleed area. And then I can cut it up. I can just take that much into the book.
And what if I were to make a colored border? That
Oh,
would
then
be
it's different. If you're making a border, then make it at that size. That's not a problem.
okay.
Yeah, this is only if you don't have a border, and say you have just a single color border, you can extend that border also further. Sometimes it helps to make wider borders,
Yeah, that's what I
then
was.
cut it rather than keep both edges very defined.
I got it. So that actually simplifies the whole thing for me.
Good.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
Aditi ma'am, I have a question that should we prefer an A4, like an A4 in a landscape mode and then probably use the both sides if I want to use, or should I use a like a A5 journal and use those both?
For the recipe that you're sending in,
Yeah.
A4 is better. Any day, making an illustration of the same size or larger is better. If you make it small, then we have to blow it up. And then there are few details that you can't see or you wish you had made differently. In the first book, Varnita had sent me pictures of her illustrations from a small journal. And she didn't have access to a scanner or anything, so she tried really hard and just sent me pictures. But when I blew it up to the book size, the text had blurred a little bit because it was not scanned at 300 dpi. So all those little things happen, and then you look at the recipe, the real one and the printed one, and it's not the same. That's very disappointing.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. All right. Any other questions? Anyone? Okay. So what I'm thinking now is, do you want to take up a recipe, if each one of you takes up your own recipe right now, just think of anything, like even something like a whole lot of sandwiches maybe, or different types of samosas or something like that, and try to think of a recipe that you can sketch. What normally happens is the execution is very easy. The ideation is what takes time. So once you've decided that, okay, this is my composition, then it's just whatever time is required for you to illustrate, what colors and all that comes easily. What I'm hoping is that you expand your creativity in the composition itself. Don't keep it a regular recipe, just these ingredients, this method. It should not, at any point, whenever you're doing any kind of art, even if it is literally writing labels for your kitchen equipment, it should not be ordinary. It should be memorable. Everything should be memorable that comes from you. So changing things so that they are, especially if you have been exposed to something and you have done or you've seen a certain variety of things, you have to say, okay, how can I change this? And as much as the question is easy, the answer comes from just breaking down the identity of what you see. So if you think about simple things like labels, that's just lettering. Most people just scribble something with their hand. It's just handwriting. But you can say, okay, I don't want handwriting. I want to do something more decorative. Okay. So what can be done decorative? Your lettering and your label can be made decorative. You don't need a rectangular label or an oval label or a circular, or let's say if you have had used if you've used rectangular labels, you can say, okay, now I'll make them circles, or I'll make them ovals, or I'll make them diamond shape, or I'll do something else. So every time you do something beyond what you have already done, that already is a starting point for you to think creatively. Then if you have written just with a scribbling running hand, you can say, I will write in capital letters. I will write in capital letters in a sketch pen. Then I will write not with a sketch pen, but with a broad edge calligraphic pen. Then you keep adding something new to it. It's, after all, it's just writing letters, but how do you make it more different? So you just break down the identity of what you see and flip it over. So when it comes to compositions, you can say, do I want to write everything in a straight line, or do I want to distribute it? Just go for contrasts. And it's not as if once you have explored it, you have to do it. You can always come back to a regular composition. But it should be something that you want to do, not because that's the only thing you can do. Okay. Also try different mediums. If you're comfortable with only pen and watercolor, why don't you bring in some color pencils and just try illustrating with color pencils and watercolor maybe, or watercolor pencils and markers. You just, what I do for myself is put myself in, say, kind of an adversity. It's not adversity when you have lots of art material, but take away what your comfort zone is. And you say, okay, today I'm just not allowed to touch pencil or watercolor or pen and ink. What else do I have? Then you start becoming inventive. Okay. So why don't you all take up something that you're very familiar with, that you've done many times before. You've made it, or in today's case, at least you've eaten it, you have an idea of how to make it, and try something different. But as a starting point, write it down in a regular manner, and then try to flip everything around and see how that works. So I'm going to do a similar thing. I still can't think of what I'm going to make, but split your page. We have an A4 size page. Make the left side where you write the recipe in a regular fashion, and then turn it around onto the right side page. So you can see this before after transformation.
Aditi, happy birthday.
Hi, Amulya. Thank you.
Happy birthday, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you, Rita.
Happy birthday, ma'am.
Thank you, Amanyu. So today is my 50th, by the way.
Oh,
Oh,
wow.
Oh, wow.
Wow,
Wonderful.
this is like a
So-
special one.
Amazing.
That's a great celebratory session for us.
Yeah.
I know it's a big milestone.
Yes. And we will remember it, I mean, for our life also, that on your 50th, we were there with you.
I know and it's going to be on YouTube also now.
So, Aditi, your YouTube videos are going to stay permanently?
As long as their rules remain the same and they don't bump me off,
Okay.
they will
Okay.
remain there. Yeah. And please
Wonderful.
keep going back and forth, watch more classes. That's why I've
Yeah,
kept it
I would
public.
really love that, It's wonderful that you started this. Yeah.
Yeah, and please freely share it amongst your friends also.
Yeah.
I would just hope that you put some comments down after you
Okay.
watched it,
Yeah.
because that just helps other people decide whether or not they want to watch the video. And I am working on making videos specifically for YouTube, but I'm terrible at this. Just thinking about how, I mean, the younger lot just does it so easily. I can barely do it. So my birthday present to me is going to be this whole setup to make YouTube videos, but I don't know what to get. I've just put some money aside saying, don't buy me anything, anybody. I just need that money to do this whole setup and probably get a consultant to help me with that. So those videos will be different. But the class videos right now, there are close to 200 videos from all the batches. And I have the thumbnail shows you what we've done in class. So that helps you to go through all the content and decide on what you want to do. As usual, just fast forward till the 15th minute or something, and that's when usually the masala begins. I have edited many videos also, so all the chit chat in the beginning I cut out. Yeah, do watch the kids videos also. They are shorter classes, 1 hour videos. Sometimes the stuff in the kids classes is mind blowing. They come up with the topics. I don't tell them what to do anymore. They say today we want to learn how to make a travel page to Bhutan or whatever. And I think it's turned out brilliant. I don't know if that video is on YouTube, but at some point I will put it. The ones before February are just recorded on my hard drive, but I will post them, the better ones. And yeah, please, you have to subscribe also. And whoever you
I've
share,
already subscribed some time back. But
whoever
comment no.
else,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay.
Nice.
So I tried this pumpkin spice cake yesterday.
Okay.
But what happened is, because I started with this side, you
Huh?
see how things are like in one particular size, and as there's more space on this, I tried filling it up, so it looks quite odd. So I was thinking maybe just reduce the size a little bit and maybe make like a tablecloth or something, or a table setting kind, instead of just doing a bigger plate and making the slice look that big. What do you think?
No, keeping the slice big is also pretty good. But tell me something, is this the one that you're going to submit finally, or this is just a sketch?
This is just a sketch.
So when you make the final version, you can change positions of all the elements again, because your paper is going to become wider. It's 19 by 24. Right now, what you have proportionately is longer. So from the bottom, you won't have this much.
Is
Aditi,
it
19,
landscape? Sorry, yeah.
sorry,
Let me show you. Let me
Just
show
to
you how the
clarify,
size
what
will.
19 is the width or the length?
19th is the width. It's
Got
an
it.
upright
Yeah.
book. Yeah, let me show you.
So actually split this sheet.
Okay, let me just show you this.
Aditi, so this would be a split sheet.
Yes.
So yeah, this is like a double fold,
Yeah.
and that's why I've done it in this.
Right.
Yes.
So your question about the whether to keep the slice larger than the rest is perfectly, it's fine to do that, because that becomes your big hero. And
Yeah.
I'll show you what we did in last Saturday's class. This was the brownie illustration. Oh, sorry.
This is amazing.
So the theme was changed now. Here I made it like a map. And everything is like you might see close to a map, not exactly the same, but this was the best I could do as a first draft. The brownies finish over here. And then there's a whole plate of brownies. And the reason I did that was because I bunched up all my ingredients and the process in about 2/3 of the page. And then there was going to be this long road of absolutely nothing around coming to the plate. That would have looked really lonely. So I didn't want to make an oven, though I could have I tried to make a tunnel that would say bake for whatever at 175 for 35. But I didn't like how the tunnel was looking. And one tunnel I've hidden over here. So then I said, okay, let me just finish the cooking part over here and then highlight the brownies and make that look pretty or prettier. So it's okay if your processes and your ingredients are smaller and the main part or the presentation is better, bigger. And you can also make it stand out more. So what you were saying about tablecloth or a napkin next to it, or even a fork and knife if you want to, or a small cup of cream or anything that you want to put on top of it, maybe some syrup. All those things can be made as one big illustration, and then 2/3 of the area you can have the ingredients and the process. So let's just go through some of the earlier ones. There's some very creative illustrations before also. But this is only for you to see what you should not do because somebody's already done it. Was this yours?
Yeah.
So do you see the a change in your
Yes.
ability and your with all sorts composition, illustration,
Lettering.
yeah. See, even I can tell there's so much changing. There's much more freedom now. Okay, see, this was an interesting one. This was made by, this time I forgot to write the name of the artist right here. This is
Anju, that was Anju.
Anju, correct.
Yeah.
So Anju, I tried to dissuade her from doing this notebook so many times. I said, why do you want to make it yellow? And why it's so silly and all. But she just insisted. And I'm glad she did because it is looking wonderful. It's looking like an old notebook in which a recipe would normally have been written. So I'm glad that she just went ahead and did it. So many of these are like regular recipes, very interesting compositions. But this time round, wait, Amanyu, is this yours?
Yes, ma'am.
Ah, very nice. Amanyu's style is fabulous. He makes very bold lines, like German expressionist artists have always told him that. These are also very good. Just simple, but fun. These are, I think, Susan's.
I think Archana.
Oh, these are, no, this is Archana, I think. This could also be Archana. Okay, yeah. When the recipes come to me, very often there are, because it's all hand done and everyone is still learning, a few things I do change. Like in this recipe, Elaine gave it to me. She was very scared. She said, I don't know how it's looking. So I had to make a few adjustments. Her lettering was slightly tilted, just about 3 degrees. So I straightened that out. So a little bit of touch up I do make. Just because this is now printed, it's going to remain out forever. It's not hidden in your book anymore. You don't want to, I mean, you should do a little bit of powder tikli to this.
How many pages are you looking at, Aditi?
I haven't decided on a number. As many
Okay.
as can come, that'll be good.
Okay.
I think this was Rida, no? Rida, was this you?
Yeah.
This was also so sweet. There's hardly any complexity to it, but it just sticks out. It looks so attractive.
Thank you.
This year, I will be putting the name of the artist right here somewhere, so that right here, you know who's made the illustration, and then you can go back and read their biodata. I think these are Susan's. So I do pick up a little element from the recipes so that even uh, the text pages continue to carry that spirit. Set. Okay, do you guys want to start sketching your recipes?
Ma'am, just give me one moment. I'll be right back.
Okay. Oh, I have another announcement. I haven't yet decided on the dates yet, but I'm planning on taking another art retreat to Mahabaleshwar this year instead of Goa in Jan, because we've done Goa 3-4 times now. And as much as I love Goa, and I'm hoping that someday I just can go and live there for good, this time Mahabaleshwar looks good in Jan or Feb. So either second week of Jan or first week of Feb is what I'm planning. It will be similar. It'll be 3-4 days. The weather is going to be fabulous. And Mahabaleshwar, it's got a lot of old buildings. It's got so much of history to it. And the accommodation will be at Mahabaleshwar Club, which in itself is a very iconic structure. So if you guys have any preferred dates, it should ideally be from maybe if it can be during the week, it's great, but maybe with a weekend would be great, except for the week of 19th to 28th when I have to be in town. All other dates are free. So if you have any suggestions, just put it on the Art from Home group for the retreat, or just keep it in mind when I post it. I will give a couple of options of dates, then you can give me on the poll. So just keep an eye out.
Aditi,
I
a
just-
3-day or a 4-day retreat?
It would be a 4-day, 4 days, 5 nights.
Okay.
I just checked 26 January is a Friday.
I know. So maybe we can do 26 to 29th or something, 27 to 29th or 30th or something like that also. That was the date I thought of. But you know what happens is Mahabaleshwar is packed on a
Oh,
long
yes.
It will be difficult on the 26th Jan to get bookings.
to get bookings also.
Yeah.
And just the weekend before or the weekend after, everything is khali because most people plan for the long weekend. So I avoid, but it's only working people can make time only at that time. Unless you tell your company, I'll work on the 26th, give me the next weekend off. So that's the reason. And I have a cousin who's visiting from the US only at that time. So that's why from the 19th to 28th, she is here. My original dates were 19th to 24th or something. And then I spoke with her and she said, I'm coming just at that time. So then I said, okay, I'll plan it for aage piche sometime. So yeah, if I get a number of people who are at least interested, then I can book, because Mahabaleshwar Club generally gets full very easily.
I'm definitely interested.
Yeah, I'm also.
Yeah, you can come now.
Yeah.
Close for you also.
Yeah, it is. And January 1st and 2nd week work for me before the
Ah.
18th.
Great. Okay.
Yeah, February may not be possible because I do have a trip scheduled. So
Okay, so I guess second week of Jan should be a better
perfect.
thing.
Perfect.
Yeah,
Perfect.
good. I'll work towards that then.
Aditi would recommend leaving a margin on the sides at all four, at least three sides. You're on mute.
Yeah, so do you need a margin, or do you need a frame, or what is your composition right now doesn't need anything, right?
Yeah, but at least to the sides, maybe top, bottom, and sides, no?
No, it
the-
doesn't matter. It doesn't matter unless you are making a texture or a wash in the background, then I would say it's always better to expand or extend it a little more. Because yes, when we bind the book, then depending upon which side your picture comes in, I'll leave maybe a 2 mm, 3 mm extra space on one side. But otherwise, if it's just a white background, it doesn't matter. Okay, my camera has stopped working. I'm just going to step out and come back in. This recording. Okay, I'll record again. When you are making maybe bottles or things like that, you don't, unless it is an iconic bottle, like maybe a Coke bottle or say a Tabasco sauce bottle, which the bottle itself is an identity of the product. You can make something that is nicer looking, that works better for you also. You can try to add some humor, like now I'm drawing a recipe of onion jam for which I use balsamic vinegar and Worcester sauce. So I could easily call this a Jeeves and Worcester combination just for the Worcester part of it. And because I use this combination in a lot of things, if I were to write my own recipe book, I would say, okay, just put Jeeves and Worcester. I think sometimes that humor also needs practice. It while for some people it comes very easy, but I don't think it comes, or well, let's say it comes naturally, but it doesn't come easy. They too must have had some bad jokes. But you should give it a try and just see, sometimes it works. The reason you do this is because from here you can take this up or take it off on a different track altogether. Of all the stories of Jeeves and Worcester, you might find that there could be something that includes a sticky situation, like you can equate your or this onion jam to, for example. And then that becomes a storyline that you can use. You could probably say, you could call this Aunt Agatha's sticky situation or something like that. This is often served with cheese on a cheese platter. So you could, that could be part of the story. You could look for a cheese story just with expanding a little bit of your imagination. You could just take it off on a different track altogether. So like I keep saying, you don't need to make this the final illustration, but when you're ideating, don't stop yourself. The more ridiculous the idea is, it's proof that you are allowing yourself to be creative. What is this?
That's your good.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, I was thinking, I'm not hearing any sound. Is it me or?
Just got a delivery of 50 roses. Sorry. Okay, how's it going?
All
Fine.
good.
I'm sketching mine. I'm sketching mine with a pencil
Okay. Otherwise,
just
you
to be safe.
go directly in pen.
Yeah.
Many people have found that illustrating in pen comes to them a lot easier.
Yeah.
Oh, has Alka been disconnected?
Yeah, she said that she's having network issues at her place.
Okay, okay. Okay, so she is again mentioned her book is still available. Those of you who haven't picked up a copy, please do. And I'll ask her to also put it on the main group. Okay, here I wanted to show you something. Now, the space that I'm using to write jam is insufficient. But instead of squeezing an M somewhere over here, my options are I can just start writing an M and let it bleed out of the page, Or because this is supposed to be a rough illustration any case, I could try something else. The word jam itself means stuffing things together. So I could easily allow for a play on that word itself. And that becomes a little bit humorous. Now here, one might think, what does this look like? Will people understand what it means or whatnot? So that is one thing I would ask you to just go a little adventurous on. Because I've encountered this so frequently in my work that the client would say, we really like what you've done, but we can't say whether our customers will understand it. So in the beginning, even now, the explanation doesn't work, but I often ask them, do you want the toss-up is between making your illustration memorable or making it just instructive. If it can do both, it's great. But there are sometimes you should allow people to just extend a little bit. Even if they need to look at your illustration for 2 minutes extra to figure out what has been said, even if a penny drop about this illustration happens maybe 2 days later, it is fine. You don't have to spoon feed every explanation for every illustration that you make. But of course, that doesn't work for most clients. The other thing is, I feel like asking, but I often just keep it under my breath. How dumb do you think your customers are? Is my first question that I think. They underestimate the intelligence of their customers. I can safely say in India, people are very good at figuring out what it might be. You could give them stuff written in Japanese and they'll figure out how to assemble stuff or something. They may bungle it up a little bit, but they're not the ones to send the product back saying your instructional manual did not put a comma in the right place. So I think they should allow for the intelligence to shine. But of course, I can't ask that question, and not many people take that risk. But if you are, if you just go to maybe the on Instagram, there's a very nice account called the Ad Network, THEAD Network, and they have advertising from years ago, and they write a little bit about what the advertisement is for. Many times, advertisements that are made for awards are not the ones that they would show on TV or during commercial breaks, simply because they can be very risque. Some of them could be very controversial, and they don't want to invite that kind of controversy. But sometimes they can be very cryptic, and they would show it a couple of times, but audience responses are not favorable, so then they will take it off the air. But they're still there. They're often shown at one or two places just so that they can then be sent as nominees for award ceremonies. And some of them are really, really good. So check those out, and that's maybe then you'll see how sometimes taking a risk can be memorable.
Hey Aditi.
Yes, hi, yeah.
Hi. So I have to go. So I've done a pencil sketch and I have not
Okay.
done it the way you instructed to do half and half. I just did the whole vertical.
Okay.
Can I show it to you and then I'll finish it later?
Yeah, certainly.
Can you see it?
I can see slightly blurred image, but yes, I can see you have a big bowl of, is it fruit? Some kinds of fruit. Cheese, okay, Greek salad. All right. Oh, this is a very nice first illustration. Very nice. I like that you have put the spoon at an angle. Yeah,
Yeah.
very nice.
So the idea is to make this part of the sea.
Yeah.
And so this will be like the Mediterranean blue ski, and this will be the lower portion will be the sands. So that's what I thought.
You don't need to make it sea and sand, huh? You
Just
can
the sea.
make the sea, it's fine. If the sea looks like the sky also, it's okay. So
Yeah.
don't be too, like, again, this would be spoon feeding. A Greek salad with a blue background, if people don't get that it is a Mediterranean sea, then, I mean, there's no point. That is not what we're trying to tell them. But if you try to add sand, that might interfere with where you've kept your bowl. But you don't want to do that. The bowl has to still look prominent. All the colorful ingredients that you put in there must remain the attraction. The moment you put a sand color close to those vegetables, they will lose their glory. But you can make a blue. Imagine if you were to shoot a picture of this Greek salad bowl against water. How would that look? You don't need sand to convey water. In fact, you don't need ripples or anything also. So what I would suggest is give a nice wash to your entire background and then focus and make a lovely illustration of your fruit and vegetables and make a lot of detailing on all of that and the lettering. It will look very good.
So now should I proceed with a pen when I do this and then do the watercolors, or should I just do the watercolors over the pencil?
No, it's up to you. Pen is
Okay.
not necessary for every illustration. You can use watercolor directly. You don't need to have pen at all in your illustration if you don't want it also. In some places, if you want to create more definition for edges, shadows, or whatever, use darker watercolor. Excuse me, like we did in class yesterday, we spoke about it. To use a fine brush to create that in only a few places, and that should be enough. So with the pen, you have the option of also going over a few areas with pen afterwards, after painting. But I'd like to reserve that option. Not everything looks good with the pen outline.
Okay.
Okay. All
All right,
right.
thanks.
So I guess
Yeah.
I'll catch you next week. Bye.
Yes. Bye. Bye.
Okay. Okay, I think I can convert this to the Jeeves and Worcester jam or something like that.
So Aditi, your process is only the one on the right side where you've mentioned it, right?
Yes, just this much. Basically,
That's
you
all
just
then.
put all these together and let it sweat.
Yeah. Okay. So I think it just gets a little challenging when the procedure is slightly more elaborate.
Okay, do you want to tell me what you're doing, and then maybe we can work out what that could be?
See, Aditi, actually, I hadn't thought of a recipe. I'm still in the process of,
Ah.
not doing too much otherwise. So this was just on the spur of the moment.
Huh.
So this is kadai paneer, which is like a very boring one, but I just found that this recipe was like really nice and
Huh.
easy to do.
Huh.
So if you see the picture down below is the plate with the paneer
Okay.
and capsicum and onion chunks.
Hmm.
And what I thought was this plate, of course, it's become a little big. I need to make it slightly smaller. And I thought I'll cut it into half, where half of it will be painted and half of it will be pen and ink.
Hmm. Okay.
And then on top here, you see is the masala box.
Huh. Right.
So I thought all the masalas then can be put in the box and I can write whatever number of spoons or teaspoons or whatever.
Yes.
And then on this side is a plate with the onion, garlic, with the ginger, garlic, and the tomato, which needs to be blended.
Right.
So I'll just put those three together and just say, blend.
Okay.
And this is the thick curd. Now the point is the entire process. I've written it down here.
Huh.
But of course, I'm going to make it concise. Now, basically, it's like the capsicum and the onions need to just be fried on high heat and then removed. And then you add in the blended stuff and then the
Right.
masalas and then
Okay.
mix in the. So how could I, just write that? Should I write it like separate? Or should I put it into 1, 2, 3 and then say this is 1, this is 2, this is 3?
I think so. You can move from the what your final presentation is going to be to what else you want to make, not the other way around. So you have, as I can see, you have 2, 3 processes, right? You would have the blending in the mixer. You would have some kind of, is there a marination or something?
No.
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 But then there's frying of the onion and the simla mirchi.
Shimla mirchi and the paneer all separately and then taken out and kept and then mixed into the masala later on.
Okay. So then making of the masala is one thing,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
you're making of the masala, frying the ingredients, and then is there an order in which you also have to put stuff in the pan to cook it? You'll first put maybe what, adrak and all?
And the paste, that blended paste.
Okay, so there's only 2 processes then.
Yeah.
You make a blended paste, you fry.
And the dry masalas.
Yeah.
You actually fry the paneer and the onion and the capsicum and then keep it separately.
Keep it separate.
Yeah.
Where do
Then
the
in
dry
the
masala comes?
No, then the blended thing comes in the same pan. You put the blended thing and then the dry masalas. And then add the fried paneer and whatever, sauteed paneer.
So it's not really, the process is not very
It's
difficult.
not so complicated actually.
Yeah, the ingredients are. So just think of it, if you were to simplify it and share it with somebody who is learning to cook, how you would want to make it. So you could try something like this as an option. You give an idea of how the dish is going to look. Now, your idea of keeping it half black and white, half color needs to have a purpose. Meaning, say, for example, you were showing some kind of transformation. Then you probably show one as black and white and then one in color. If there is maybe, if you're doing fermentation, then the pre-fermented mixture looks one way, and then the fermented mixture which you have to drink or something looks another way. Then if that would make sense. Otherwise, it just takes away a lot of time and space to make 2 separate illustrations, and that visual doesn't really add anything to the story you're trying to tell.
Okay.
Okay, so just making that reduces your work and also the space required. So instead of a whole dish which will have 2 parts, you can make even just half the dish
Yeah, half
as
a
that
plate.
1 part. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I have divided the page into just so that you have ample space for everything to write everything. So we could make a nice big plate of paneer. You could start off with first the blending thing. So maybe you could, I'm just making one of these like bullet blenders,
Yeah, yeah.
and you can have you have tomato and ginger garlic.
Tomato, ginger, and garlic.
Okay. So with this, you will need quantities, correct?
Yeah.
So you can easily write this in this part: tomato, ginger, garlic. And this part can be cordoned off as one section.
Okay.
This is process 1, and you could also put a very nice fancy one over here. Then you have the frying of the veggies. So you could have a pan maybe sticking out from somewhere here. And you could draw the whole Simla mirchi, onion, and chunks of paneer. And the best bit is, once you have drawn this outside, you don't need to draw the same thing over here. You can say fry in oil or butter or something.
Yeah.
What or till brown.
Yeah.
And do something like this. Make that text more visible. Now, once you've made these shapes, you don't really need to tell them that cut into 1-inch squares or whatever. You give them the idea, no? इसका 1 inch का अगर 2 inch होता है या आधा inch होता है, it really doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. Yeah.
Yeah. So then this becomes section 2. Now over here, if you want, again, you can write 2 Simla mirchi, 3 onions, half kilo or whatever of paneer. So you cut out all the statements.
Yeah.
You can say, and then the dry masala. So here also you don't need to draw the pan anymore. Here you already have a circle, so you don't need to draw a separate thing. And now when you're making those masalas in this also, make full circle. So I saw what you were trying to do. Even if they're not the same size, make full circles.
Okay.
This is better than having those half circles. And you don't have to bother making this 3D. So you can say haldi or turmeric and chili or chili powder. Go for, you can also do abbreviations, why not? And then hing. And don't bother with translations. So here you can say 1 teaspoon, 2 teaspoons, quarter teaspoon. So that frees up a lot of space. All what you've written in the list can all be put over here. There is ample room to put all of these things. And then you can write your process. So you can make it funny. Or you can say, okay, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Putting it together. Or you can say, or now the wedding, or something like that. And say, okay, take, put 1 in pan. Then put what, 2 or 3? You have to decide. First the fried stuff or the...
3.
So now we can change these numbers.
Yeah.
Right? So if this becomes 2, so then put 2 in pan and then put 3 in pan. So
Yeah.
you could also call this the 1, 2, 3 kadai paneer.
What did you say? The
title could be 1, 2, 3 kadai paneer.
Yeah. Perfect.
So,
and here you could, in fact, only color this part, the kadai paneer part. So when you're drawing the final illustration or the big illustration, the best way to distribute everything is literally that. Start drawing different elements in different places.
Yeah, first the paneer, then the...
Yeah, and keep changing that. So every time you change, your lines will change and your structure will change, and that will make it look like an organic illustration.
Ma'am, can I show mine?
Yes.
I also want a quick feedback, Aditi.
Yeah. I'll give you also. Okay. Fried.
Thanks so much, Aditi. This was really helpful.
Most welcome. Okay, fried egg. Okay. Oh, very nice. I like this. You're making it into a comic book.
Yeah.
Good. Very nice.
So I wanted to know, I was thinking of doing the cover kind of like here. But I feel this is going to be a little empty. So should I add any elements which are featured in the recipe? Like suppose egg, I can put somewhere over here. Some other elements. Should I do that or should I just keep it like a little empty? Like this only?
No, you could do anything. Like what else would you have with the fried egg? If you're going to have some kind of sauces, you could put those sauce bottles. You could put it in a beautiful looking plate. You could put some toast, butter, make it like a breakfast table. Right? You can do anything.
Yeah. Oh.
All right. Let's see Tarini's. Asparagus soup. Oh, nice. Okay. So chop, cook. Okay. Can you just read out the text to me? I think it's very verbose and may not be needed. So like, for example, in the third one, blending, allow cooked mix to cool and then blend to smooth consistency, pour back into pan. Okay. So instead of that, you can just say cool, blend, and return to pan. That's good enough, I think. And if you want, maybe put a subtext under blend to smooth consistency or like creamy consistency or something like that, if you feel that is necessary. Wait, you're muted. Are you muted or can I not hear you? Okay, I don't know what's up.
She's on mute actually.
She's on mute.
Oh, you are on mute. Okay, okay. I couldn't see that on your frame. Beetroot hummus. Okay. So one second, let me have a look at that beetroot hummus again. See how much of the text you can shave off. So chickpeas boiled 1 cup, 1 cup no, what is that? 1 cup chickpeas boiled. You've written the same thing twice. Okay. Okay. Okay, so juice of 1 big lemon. Okay. Okay, so this is a very nice first draft. Now you've got all the recipe in place. And from this, if you can just cut up stuff and say, like, just show a lemon and say juice. That's enough. Or if you can give it in a measurement, like maybe, because this is a tricky one. Juice of 1 lemon is juice of 1 lemon. It can be any amount. So yeah, just juice should be enough. Chickpeas also boiled, you need to say that. So you can't reduce that further. So maybe what you could do is in the process where you have all the text, you can change that and first remove all the articles. So remove all the and whatnot.
Okay, my sound is on.
Oh, great. Okay. So anything that you can, so one more thing you could do probably, I'm just thinking, if you try to translate a recipe or communicate to somebody who doesn't know your language, we try to keep all the words to only the important words. So we won't say, would you have 1 or 2 onions? You just put that in their face and you say kanda, and then you make fingers.
Right. You make
so that, yeah. So that is the visual communication language where you remove all syntax and try to keep it as brief as possible.
Okay.
So think of it that way.
Yeah. All right. Thank you so much.
Most welcome. Let's see Susan's. This time everyone is on paneer. Very good. Okay. Yeah. Now, Susan, this has become your style. So you need to push yourself now. You need to try something new. Text should be different. Just do something that you've not done before. You could think of, wait, what is yours? Paneer bhurji, hai na?
Yeah.
Okay. So think of things like, what would the bhurji represent? It's actually like a pulverizing of paneer.
Yeah.
Like any bhurji is pulverized. So maybe you could think of something like, put all your ingredients in what might look like a tornado, or give the visuals, give some kind of interesting visual to it. Maybe you could think of like what am I thinking of? Some story, some storyline that one could identify with. Or you could also, or this morning, in fact, we were talking about this and I said, has anyone written a song for a recipe? So you could even write it as a song. You are a musician. So you could make up your own song. You could paraphrase some song, because for something like a bhurji, it's you can have a consistent refrain like mash and mix, that can become your chorus, and then you can have some verses written, a couple of verses, chop and grind the onions or whatever, set it to some rhyme or rhythm. And it's not as if tomorrow somebody's going to sing it, but it is something different, something other than what you're doing. And then also we know that you will have to, when you say chop the onions are going to be chopped. You don't have to draw them chopped or
Right.
something. You could have the onions holding maracas, the tomatoes playing the guitar, or something like that. And then all of that comes together in some kind of a mash that becomes your paneer bhurji.
Right.
Hai na? So
Yeah.
just, let your imagination go wild. First draft is fine, but we don't want to submit the first draft as the only draft.
Right.
So make that effort to maybe write something else or draw something else. After it's fully done and you feel that you can't improve it any better and that was a bad direction to take, then if you want, come back to the original illustration. So that exploration, because it fails, is not bad. That exploration is absolutely essential.
Right.
Aditi,
Yes.
last week I painted one recipe, a friend's recipe. I shared it on the group.
Oh,
So I was
yes,
trying to show mustard seeds and what do you call methi seeds, because the ingredients are very less.
Right.
I won't be using this for the book, but I was having trouble showing those seeds.
So for this, often I would recommend don't draw the seed at all. Draw the container. We always keep all these things in a masala dabba or some container. You can just draw the container and draw the label. Very often things like these, salt, pepper, hing is horrible to draw. You can't draw just a brown puddle. Even oils, you can't draw oils. So you don't draw the actual thing, but you can draw the container. Containers can be very beautiful, very well designed. And in that, if you have a transparent container, you can show a little bit of the yellow to indicate it's yellow mustard seeds. If you don't want to write that it's yellow mustard seeds. And fenugreek seeds, that also you can write separately. That works best. I found that makes the illustration look much prettier. And
that's a good idea.
Has got so many powders and tiny things that are very difficult to illustrate and make look pretty. So it's best to do it that way. I once illustrated a book last year for a particular community from Rajasthan. Their only ingredients were hing. So that was the only spice that they had. They hardly had any onion, hing and salt, hing and mirchi or something like that. There were like 4 ingredients, and in that they would make aloo, they would make arbi, and then add a little bit of this and it becomes slightly different or whatever. It was very painful. But then I made those jars and it looked slightly better.
Yeah, that's a good idea. And while you were telling others, giving some feedback, I thought probably I could draw a basket for this. Like how we did in the food illustration class, right? So the tomatoes, coriander, and mirchi, I can have it in the basket.
Yeah.
And attempt it again.
And even the oil and salt, you can then put as the bottle of oil can be in the basket horizontally. That can also look nice. Okay. So now, after all this, then you have to work on the lettering. Avoid handwriting. I mean, your handwriting. Write it by hand, but handwriting differently. And one more tip is coriander and green chili is written. Green chili is still okay, but coriander is written almost going ulta. So not only is it vertical, but it is turning in such a way that it's going to turn upside down. So we want to avoid that. In that case, turn it the other way around.
Okay.
Make it look going more right side up, not upside down.
Yeah, easy to read. Yeah.
Yeah, thoda sa
Correct.
easy. This is just this is like the Antichrist of lettering, I would say. We don't want to turn it so much. Up to 90 degrees is fine. Beyond 90 degrees in the wrong direction is being rude to the reader.
Okay, sure.
And again, there's a caveat to that also. You can be rude to the reader if there's a purpose. If you want them to turn the design around and read it upside down, then go ahead and make it upside down, because then it serves the purpose. "Kya re, ye kya hai?" And then suddenly you say, oh, now from this side, the recipe looks completely different. You know, something like that.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so are everyone's, well, most people's doubts more or less clear? At least you get some direction.
Yes, Aditi, you just make it sound so easy.
I
I was
I'm telling you
confused in the beginning.
if your thinking is sorted, then that's half the battle won. The rest is all just let's see Amulya's. Okay. Oh, how nice.
Tried making the fall kind of a look.
Very nice.
Fall,
Yeah.
with blue pottery. So this is a rough draft, so I'll do the little more detailing. And maybe
Yeah.
do
Lovely colors, lovely colors.
The flowers in the vase that you've made, I think it is coming too much into the center. You could take it a little to the side and just paint half of it as if it is, yes, correct.
Okay.
And so show the flowers even bigger. Let them go right to the top of the page. So you can bring in the fall colors and that beautiful blue pottery vase. But right now it looks as if there is something more happening there with the recipe than with just the display. So I think move that to the side, then the glass and everything is fine. But tell me something, do you want to think of the glass instead of that particular glass? What other beverage can be served with this? Because wine glasses are terrible to illustrate.
Yeah.
They just don't look good with or without the wine. I don't know what it is. I have seen all sorts of wine glasses made by even really good artists, but they're good in person, but not as an illustration.
Maybe just blue tumbler, like a blue water tumbler with an orange slice.
But no, why don't you think of, if you were to serve that slice of pumpkin pie with something, what might that be? And then look for some kind of some pottery with that.
Yeah, this is a tea cake, so maybe I should put I put a teacup, but I put a pumpkin in the teacup.
Yeah.
I put a pumpkin in there.
No, so then remove the pumpkin from the teacup or keep only that. So what I would do is remove the pumpkin from the teacup, put the teacup on the right, so that goes well with the plate. And the pumpkin can be placed anywhere else, even along the base in some places. If you want to add some, just some, like a balance. On the right-hand side of the page, if you're going to make those flowers, you could have a pumpkin at the base over there. Yes.
Over here, maybe.
Yeah.
Put this to the side and put the pumpkin over there.
Correct. Yeah. But keep the two of them very close to each other.
Yeah.
Not too far away. Those two need to be close. The pumpkin should not come close to the pie and the teapot or teacup. Very cool. One more thing is the tablecloth that you've made. Instead of vertical lines, I would go diagonal. Because you have vertical lines for the napkin. Yeah. So don't use the same orientation. Change that to a 45-degree angle. Because if you do any other angle, then the edge of the table, it looks as if you don't know how to lay out your tablecloth. But we do put, often we can put a square tablecloth at a 45 degrees. So you have triangles hanging out.
Yeah.
So it still looks slightly better. Okay. All right. So I guess that's it for today. Please send more pictures on the group. So if you have any more comments at any point, I can help you out. And the new date is, I think, 15th of October, no, or 10th of October to send your artwork. If you feel you're done, don't wait till the end. Send the picture to me for feedback. Send the scanned picture, scanned at 300 DPI. I will be sharing those details with you on Monday on the group. And once it's scanned, I will start compiling the book and then give you feedback. If there are some things that I need you to change, then it gives us enough time to make the changes also. Okay, cool. This is very exciting.
Thank you. Thank you.
All
everyone.
right, Chala,
Thank
see
Have a
you.
wonderful
Bye.
day. Enjoy
Have a
your
great
festival.
day.
Thank you.
Bye. Bye. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thanks, bye.
Bye.
Bye bye.